Hey, thought I'd make a video. I ain't made one in a long time. Just wanted to let you know what I'm doing to the car. The last time I drove it, started over. Drove it here a while back, made a good hard pull with it. Had boost creep, went all the way up to 15 pounds when I only had like a 4-pound spring in it. So when it did that, it pushed a bunch of coolant out of the radiator, and then it blew oil out of the back, the rear hole for the knock sensor. You know, you got that rubber seal and that aluminum cover, valley cover. It blew that cap, that plastic cap, up and blew oil out the back of the engine, and ended up on my transmission, leaking down the back of the motor and transmission. Well, obviously I can't go to the racetrack like that, so there's two major concerns that I need to take care of. One, I can't get water leaking all over the racetrack, and two, I gotta make sure I don't have oil leaking all over the racetrack. If it don't hurt me, it might hurt the next guy. So, with that being said, I've done a couple things. Right now, I'm putting in head studs, and I'm doing what the diesel guys have done. And I know this probably isn't right. And there's new head gaskets on the car. It's a new MLS gasket. Probably just should went ahead and bought new ones. I don't know why I didn't. I don't know. I guess I'm just being cheap because I spent money elsewhere. But bought a set of studs from eBay. I don't want to say what country they're from because you and I both know I'm probably going to hell for this. So I bought the eBay studs. I'm putting them in. I'm doing the diesel thing. I'm putting in one stud at a time. Now I don't know the right or wrong way to go about doing that. So I started at the center, and I'm working my way out in a circular pattern. And kind of going by the internet on the torque specs, but I'm only going to 70 foot-pounds. But I'm running into a couple obstacles. One of them being this engine had 250,000 miles on it. It's a 99 5.3. I did put an LS7 cam in it, but that was all. Now this is kind of the big thing I'm putting, and I also put LS3 valve springs in it. Somebody called me out on that one time, so I better get that right. So this is the next big thing, putting studs in it. Now with the engine being so old, you got a whole bunch of rust and whatever down in the block, I can't get the studs in right. I kind of drove the head bolts in and made them go this last time. I've reused these head bolts like 3 times. Obviously, why would it hold water, you know? So what I did, see if I can get it here and show it to you. I took one of the head bolts. This ain't nothing new. A lot of people do this. And if you can see it, I cut a slot with a hacksaw in it. Not trying to use this as a tap, but trying to allow space for the dirt down in them holes to get in them slots. And it's working great. So that's kind of not really a trick, but just a common sense thing. Now I've got another concern. I'm putting these head studs in. I don't have them all in yet. But these bottom ones, for whatever reason, I guess it probably has more to do with the head casting than it does the block. I'm sure the block holes are all drilled and tapped to the same depth. But these head studs, they're so long, they're sticking out so far, I'm afraid they're going to hit the exhaust manifold. Hope that's not the case, but it looks like on the other side, that's the way it's going to be. Right now, I'm just working on the passenger side, and I've got 5 of them in. I'm just being lazy and taking my time and trying to do a good job. So another thing I've got going on is the 72mm Rev 9 turbo. This is the turbo that I've had on the car for a while. I ran twins at one point, but now I'm running a little bit of water stayed in there and kind of rusted up a little bit. I've sold all the turbos. This one's sold also. There's a guy coming to get it right now. I sold 4 turbos in an effort to buy a 80mm VS Racing. It's the 80 millimeter T6 132 AR with the billet wheel and then the V band on the cover here. So that'll be cool. It has a 5-inch. I believe it's going to use a 5-inch pipe coming off the exhaust, so I'm gonna have to redo all my exhaust, all foot and a half of it. That was my old exhaust pipe, just come up through the hood. So yeah, everything's going to change there. I'm glad I'm getting the V band on the cover, or I think I am. Whoever it was from VS emailed me a little while ago, and they said that I could get either the slip-on or the V band, and I said if it don't cost any more for the V band, give me the V band. And then I never heard back. So we'll see what shows up. But yeah, that turbo, I hope someone corrects me if I'm wrong, and there'll be people out there that's done a million different things, but that turbo is supposedly capable of mid to low or mid fives at like a 3,300 pound race weight. Of course, there's, that's probably a car that's actually set up for racing. This has been and will always remain a street car, although I'm thinking about gutting the thing here pretty soon. All right, so another thing I got going on, the crankcase ventilation. Obviously there was not enough, all right, I'm sorry. Obviously there was not a big enough hose to allow the crankcase to ventilate. And I'm glad it ventilated out of a hose or out of the knock sensor hole instead of through the side of the block. So what I'm trying to do is take these dash 12 AN weld-on bones. You can see that. It's aluminum weld-on bone, and I'm trying to stick it in this factory valve cover right there. And got a friend of mine says he can weld them in, so that's good. Let's see. I bought 4 of them, and now the issue is making a catch can. The catch can I have is not big enough. It's just one of those little ones, like a quart. The thing really wasn't blowing any oil into it. I'd drain it and it'd just be water. Of course, I'm just running E85. When you either build a tank or buy one a little bit bigger, it may use 2 of the little filters, yay big, yay tall. And I'm gonna see how that works out. I still have to buy or make lines for it, and dash 12 lines apparently aren't cheap. What I wish I had kind of done now, I guess I still can do this. Maybe I need to, I don't know. I'd rather just make the AN lines. But if I could have done barb fittings, I'd use a cheaper hose and use a cheaper fitting. But this would be the best option. Obviously the burned down breather tubes are pretty expensive. If you've not seen those, just look up burned down breather tube, and you will see some of the nicest valve cover accessories ever. Too much money for me. They cost, one of them burned down breathers cost more than the whole car. So all right, let's get after it, get the other studs in. Side one is done. None of the studs hit the manifolds. I'm kind of surprised. I really thought that if any of them, this one would hit, because there is a bunch of dirt or rust or something down the bottom of that hole. I couldn't get it out. And the stud, I'll show you one of these studs. They have this, I don't know, they have this extra bit here on the end of it. I'm not sure what that's all about, but it's actually getting down to the bottom of the hole and stopping the stud from screwing in any further once it hits all that dirt. I thought about grinding it off. You know, I don't see why that would hurt. But it got in there, it torqued just fine. It's just sticking out a little farther than the others, so I'm good with it. I'll stick the clamp back on the exhaust, move over to the other side, and start on it. All right, I got it back together, for the most part anyways. Waiting on the turbo. I'll have to buy a T6 flange. Gotta get the valve covers welded up for the catch can. I need a new catch can because this little 1 quart booger ain't gonna do it. Or it might, I don't know. I'll just try welding a couple of dash 12 bungs into it and just see what happens. But this is what's going on. It's back together, just waiting on parts now. See y'all later.